Right then. Hello. We're back.
And so we're back from outer space.
Oh my gosh. Do you know, I was just looking at the calendar. It's 4 weeks since we did our last live. And we've really missed them. And we've had lots of messages to say that you have too. And when I came into I thought, oh, will they remember who we are? And when I came in and seen all the comments and so many people there, it was like, yes, we're back.
Are you going to tell them who we are? They might have forgotten which way around we are. This is Ant. And I'm Dak.
So we're here to chat for the next hour or so about our recent travel. So if you've got any questions about I was just going to say, I was rubbing my chest, but I don't know why I'm rubbing my chest, so I've got nothing on my chest. No comments, please.
But she's got a great personality.
So we've come back from our Celebrity Eclipse cruise to Canada and New England, which was one fantastic itinerary in itself. And it was our first group cruise as a passenger, and we learned so much, didn't we? And it was just so much fun. And it was with Gary Bembridge, Tips for Travellers. I'm sure you've all heard of, because he's just one of the biggest bloggers. Well, he is the biggest cruise blogger in the world, and just a bloody good bloke, isn't he? A really nice guy.
You say he's the biggest in the world. He's only just over 412,000 more subscribers than us, though.
Yeah, so he's quite big. But anyway, we joined Gary's group cruise on the Celebrity Eclipse and spent 10 nights or 11 nights. Well, we were away for 40 nights altogether.
11 nights, did you
11
say?
Nights, where we flew to Boston and did this itinerary. Oh, I haven't shown you this, Paulie. Hopefully,
you've got plenty of time to put some
and if
things
Reese
up.
is in the house, this is going to blow your mind. So this was the itinerary that we did on. There it is. Look at this. So we headed over to Boston. We spent 3 nights in Boston. Went to Rockland in Maine, Halifax in Nova Scotia, and Sydney. Then we had an overnight in Quebec City, and then we went back to Charlottetown, which is Prince Edward Island, and then back to Portland before we got back to Boston and flew home. So it was absolutely fantastic. So so that was our itinerary. So hopefully, Reese, you're going to be happy with that, because me and Reese are map geeks. So anyway, so we're here to answer real questions. If you've got any questions about any of those ports, about Celebrity Eclipse, or about anything to do with cruising, then please do ask away, because we're happy to answer. So let's have a look at the comments and just see. I'm not going to go through everyone that's here, because if I did that, we'd be here till 9 o'clock and Paul would tell me off. So, but Sean was first here.
I would tell you off.
You would.
You make me sound like some sort of scoundrel, or what's the word I'm looking for? Dictator.
Rascal.
Dictator.
Maybe. Yeah. No, not. But the reason we've got, well, we'll talk more about group cruise in a minute, and the reason why Paul's got a t-shirt and I got a cup. Look at that. So Sean was here first, and he was just saying, if you have any question, please start a question. Please do, because in the chat things tend to get lost. So if you've got a question for us, start it with a question or write then, and then we'll spot it. Now, Sean's just literally got off Anthem of the Seas in Southampton. He's just spending the night in Southampton before he's off for a weekend in Warner's. So he's been sharing his trip in our Discord group, our Patron Discord group, which has been great to watch.
He did about 1 port, didn't he?
Well, he had 3 missed ports. So that's really interesting about having missed ports, particularly if you're going towards the Mediterranean or cruising out of the UK in October, November. And obviously with what's going on in Florida, which is really scary to watch at the moment, isn't it? So everyone in the Florida, in the States, where we're obviously thinking of all you that have been affected by those horrendous storms. There is certainly something to think about if you are cruising this time of year. Missed ports insurance. We did it once, didn't we? And because we've always had insurance with our bank historically, and we did an add-on, and we didn't miss any ports at all, did we? Right. So we didn't renew it. But if we were going to choose to do those sort of itineraries that are a little bit at risk this time of year, then we would definitely consider taking it out, because you can get anything, but depending on your insurance, you get between £300 and £500 back per missed port, as long as you've got the documentation to prove that. But anyway, so Nick and Tracy are here saying welcome to everyone and just showing our website. Yeah, for those of you, people just think that we do stuff on YouTube. We don't. We do stuff on, we've got a whole website full of information. So make sure, if you are searching for links, make sure you give that a visit.
And if I may say, it's incredibly well written.
Paul does a lot of writing for our website, and he does a great job, to be fair, don't you? So,
well, I think so.
So, and Claire's here saying, love to see you guys back. It's really nice to be back. When we're away, obviously, we tend to switch off a little bit and don't sort of engage as much as we do when we're home. And obviously, because of Wi-Fi, we couldn't do our lives. But anyway, so let's have a look. So Nick and Tracy's asking the first question. Did Gary Bembridge Cruise provide you with any tips for your own group Patron cruises?
None whatsoever. Next question.
It did. You know, it was really interesting doing it from the passenger perspective. It was great to Gary. It was just such a professional. He had it organized down to the
It was everything I thought it would be with Gary. So organized.
Yes.
Everything ran like clockwork.
Yeah.
I think it surprised a lot of people, and it did surprise me a little bit, but having spent time sort of one-on-one with Gary, was what a genuinely funny man he is.
Yeah.
And his presentation skills, honestly, was absolutely spectacular. I mean, I got a lot under my nose, but he was like...
Yeah, it is, because when you see Gary doing his videos that are superb, that are just packed full of information, he's our go-to man, isn't it? If we're doing a new cruise line, like, what's Gary done about it? Because he's just full of facts, and his videos are excellent. He is very serious and very professional, but actually he's got a wicked sense of humor, and it was so much fun. So yes, we did come away with some ideas about things. A lot of the things that Gary did, we'd already planned to do we sat down with Dan and worked out a schedule. So yeah, but what I think surprised me so much about the group cruise was how fabulous it was being in a group, and how many people that we met and we just laughed so much. And we didn't know when we booked Gary's group cruise, but we obviously learned as we went along before it. But there was 13 of our patrons on there as well, and we used to all get together individually as a group as well.
We had a splinter group. We
did, but and that was just special, spending time with people that we talked to a lot online but never met in person. So yes, we've come away with a lot of ideas, and Gary's coming on our group cruise in May as well, so it'll be interesting. Which make me quite nervous, actually.
Well, no, it doesn't make me nervous because he doesn't know yet, but he's actually presenting all of our get-togethers.
Exactly. So let's have a look. So I just see a super chat just jumped up there. So Kevin, thank you, Kevin. Good to see you back. Missed you. Yes, we've missed being here. It's bizarre, isn't it? People say you miss doing your lives. You're sat in front of a computer chatting to the community, but it's absolutely fabulous. So thank you so much. It is good to be back. So let's go and have a look at what our next question is.
And when we say we had a splinter group, that splinter group actually got bigger while we was out there, because we had some of Gary's patrons actually joined our Patron while they was out here.
Yes.
And some of which are in the chat tonight.
Yes, they are. Yes. So it's lovely to see everyone here. So yeah, Sean says he's back now, back in Southampton doing a dry run for Paul and Carole's group cruise, sampling Wetherspoons and the Holiday Inn. Yeah, that's a go-to in Southampton, isn't it? So that's great. So let's see. So Sean's got withdrawals already. He's only been off the ship 8 hours.
Just imagine that Wetherspoons in Southampton, in our experience, is usually quite busy. But just imagine the eve of the Paul and Carole group cruise. If we say, right, well, we'll have a meetup in there then.
Well, that's the plan, I think, isn't it? Because we get with the group, the amount of people that staying in Southampton prior to our group cruise it appears big. So we're going to just pick a pub and something like Wetherspoons, because it's cheap and cheerful and people can just, it's on the high street. It's
so whoever gets there first, you've got to save 198 seats. So there's no pressure. So just practice out. No, someone's sitting there, mate.
No. So Amanda's here. Amanda's in Madeira at the moment. Amanda's one of our members too, and was very nervous about flying out there, and had a horrendous, for someone that's nervous about flying, had a horrendous flight over. It was stopped 3 times, wasn't it? And then it was really rough. But it looks like you're having a fab time, Amanda. So thank you for taking the time out for joining our chat. So let's see where the next question is. Oh, Sherry's here from North Carolina. Hi from a sunny and mild and beautiful day in Charlotte, North Carolina. Maybe able to stay for a little while. Good-o. Sandra's here from on board the Diamond Princess in New Zealand. Oh, fabulous. That's on we've been talking about our next big bucket list cruise, and it's been...
See that where Carole's gone with this now? Now, normal people have a bucket list, But now we've got a bucket list and a big bucket list.
Yeah, we have.
And then I'm sure that that's going to be superseded by a trug.
Yeah.
A trug list. Now I'm sure if
And
you
then a
don't know
big
what that
barrel.
is, and that, yeah, then a wheelbarrow list.
I love my trugs.
She does.
Paul always tells me off for buying too many drugs. You can't have enough drugs for the garden. Anyway, back to Diamond Princess. So so Sandra, I hope you had a fabulous time. But going back to our big bucket list, it's Hawaii and New Zealand are the two at the top, aren't they? And I keep tipping towards New Zealand. I think, oh no, Hawaii. So we'll see where we end up. Right.
Were you doing like the woman from the Tales of the Unexpected theme?
I was. Do you remember that?
No, of course. Well,
not you. I'm talking to everyone else.
Oh, not the royal you then.
Not the royal you. So, Nick and Tracy have just given us a super chat as well. Welcome back, Heather Thatchers and stuff.
Well, let me tell you this. No ice, Nick and Tracy. I haven't had a Thatcher's Gold, I reckon, for at least 3 weeks.
Yeah, because there was no cider on Celebrity Eclipse. Well, there wasn't there?
No, don't say it. Don't say that word.
S
word.
Don't
say the S word.
So Strongbow. Oh, I said it. Sorry. So yeah, and we haven't had a drink since we've been back actually, because we've been trying to be healthy eating, and obviously when you're on a cruise, you tend to drink too much.
We've both decided that we're not going to have a drink this weekend either.
Who said that? I've got quite an exciting weekend. I'm leaving Paulie Morgan to sit on the sofa, stroking his remote control.
Yes.
And eating pies. And I'm off for a girly weekend to Devon, to Woolacombe, so to celebrate my friend's birthday. So I'm looking forward to that. Right, let's see. Where were we? So, gosh, so many people here. Thank you so much for coming back and remembering that we do these lives. Where is I'm lost, Paulie.
Why?
Oh, here I am. Here we are. So let's have a look. Oh, it was there. Now it's popped back up.
I can't even look at it. It's
going too fast, isn't it? Well, there we are.
Well, you're in charge of the bloody spinner, so you're saying it's going too fast. It's not like a randomizer. You're there doing that with your finger. Of course, it's going too fast.
Corrington, I haven't just returned from a celebrity cruise. I found the loud record music in most venues really annoying. Did you? Yes, that was a big thing that we all said in our group, and because I think if we'd been traveling on our own and we love live music and we were just sat there just talking amongst ourselves and listening to the music, it would have been fine. But because we always end up either in a martini bar or some area, a bar around the atrium, the music was so loud. In the end, we all decided to congregate by the casino bar because that was the only area that you could really sit inside that didn't have a lot of music.
The problem for us, and especially if you're blogging, and I'm saying it's first world problems, I believe is what they say, but everywhere around the ship, even if there's no live music playing, there's music playing. Yeah,
even outside the cabin.
You come out of your cabin, you're in the corridor, there's music coming out of speakers. When don't you know? When you get off the ship, there's a massive speaker, and I'm talking massive, about 4 foot high, about 3 foot wide.
Big.
It's 4 foot high. It was the same height as you, 4 foot high and 3 foot wide. Chained to some railings with music pumping out to the point where when we were in Quebec, we got about 500 or 600 yards from the ship. I kid you not, and we could hear the music playing. It seems to be that they're afraid of the quietness. Now, if you're trying to blog, it makes it virtually impossible because of copyrighted music. But if you're also, more importantly, because we had a fabulous time talking to people, but trying to get somewhere quiet where you could speak. Now, the Eclipse is a fabulous ship. And what they do, which some ships do, some ships don't, they make full advantage of the atrium, which is lovely. You've got all the glass elevators going up. There's a tree. Pretty. There's a tree which fell over while we were there and had to be tied back up, which was quite amusing. But they have a band or a classical violinist or a singer or lots of different options in that atrium. But they have the music loud enough that it can be heard on any of the decks that are in the atrium, which is a lot, 5, 6, 7, 8 decks. So if you're only 2 or 3 decks up, it's so loud, you can't speak to each other.
Even the library, which is on like deck 10, which is a lovely area that if you just wanted to sit and read, because it's in the atrium, you can hear the music. Yeah. So that was one of our very few moans about Celebrity Eclipse. I thought it was a great ship from a outside space point of view as well. It's got some fantastic
everything. So they won't watch our blogs, will they?
No, they won't.
Of course they will.
No, of course they will. But so
she's going again.
I'm going again. I'm going dizzy. Let's get to the next question. So everyone chatting together. So Jackie Arce, question. Welcome back. You were right. We had a great time in Salzburg. Would you consider buying a cabin on a cruise ship like Villa V? No. Going back to Salzburg, if you ever get a river cruise that goes to Salzburg, it's probably one of the most prettiest places I think we've ever been to. It is absolutely fantastic in France. It's got a little Venice there, hasn't it? Is it called Little Venice? It might not be called Little Venice.
It's called Petit France.
Petit France, yeah. No, it's not.
It is.
Is it?
It is.
But Colmar and Salzburg are in there. Are you making that up?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So glad you really enjoyed that. And we would definitely do another river cruise that went to Salzburg. For those that you don't know, Villa V is the old Fred Olsen ship, actually Braemar, that's now been kitted out to do a 3-year world cruise. And people have been sat on there now for months and months. It's been in Belfast. And there's just been issue after issue.
It's taken about 35 years to build. And apparently now it's set off. It's already got to the first port and broke down, apparently. But that's not the reason why we wouldn't do that. To me, doing like Villa V is like doing a world cruise. We've been asked this question many times. So if anybody's going to ask it, don't bother now. Or if it's in the chat, we'll answer that about doing a world cruise. We would love to do a world cruise, but it'd have to be on about 10 different ships. Because the thought of being on the same ship for 80 days, 90 days, 100 days, 120 days wouldn't appeal to me in any way, shape, or form. Now, I know it's a world cruise is all about the ports, but you're not in the ports for 120 days.
Yeah, for us, I don't think we've talked about it a lot, haven't we? You know, I think sort of 20 to 30 days on one ship would be enough for us.
More than enough.
It depends on the particular itineraries that you do. So, so that's a good point. Just want to say, we've got another super chat. They say, hi to the cruise boys. Hi, guys. Miss you guys. Good to see you back. Looked like a fab group cruise. It was. It was so much fun. It's really made us excited about our cruise in May. And it was really...
sounds like we weren't excited about it.
We are excited.
I was really excited about it. It's made her more excited.
More excited. I think what it's done is it made us realise that we don't just have to rely on... being the only, because it's our group cruise.
Go on, Annie.
I know. We thought because Gary would dip in and out. We would see him some days. We would see him. So I think what was so nice was that how everyone just chatted amongst themselves and what was happening out of the organised things. I'm going to
have to step in now because otherwise it's going to take 4 hours. What Carole is trying to say is she thought that hosting a group cruise would mean that 24 hours a day, you were constantly on a unicycle, juggling, singing, entertaining people every single moment of every single day. And what she's realised is it's not like that. You want to get your get-togethers, you want to do your quizzes, you want to have a chat about stuff. You know, if anybody got any technical questions like Gary did, he did some YouTube stuff and things like that because he's the biggest.
And that's how we won.
So, so I knew she wouldn't let me finish that. She can't help herself. So it made her realise that people won't want to be entertained 24 hours a day by us. They can go off and do their own things. They can meet new friends. They can spend time with already seasoned friends of theirs. They can do whatever they want. So that's what she was trying to say.
Exactly that. Thank you very, very much. Rock Doc's here. Celebrity Keith. Look forward to seeing PNC getting for ages since we had one of these. It's a month. Oh, excuse me. Right. Next question. Nick and Tracy's asking, how did the sausage class compare to Celebrity Edge class for you? Having been sport on Beyond, I'm not keen on going on Equinox again. The stateroom was disappointing.
Now, you're going to have to educate me now. So is Equinox
the same
as Eclipse?
Yeah.
Well, this is... Celebrity Beyond is a fabulous ship. There's no doubt about it. I know we didn't like the cabin, but other than that, it's a fabulous ship. Without a shadow of a doubt. The Eclipse, it's not it's not the Beyond, but what I liked about it, again, lots of outside spaces, lots of little pockets of areas you could go to for entertainment, which means it spreads it out a bit. There was a few times where you struggled to get seats and you had to be organised. If you thought, right, well, at 9 o'clock, there's the so-and-so quiz, it's no good going there at 8:45. You'd have to be going there at 8:15, 8 o'clock to make sure you got a seat. So you had to be organised, but there were still plenty of places to sit if you just wanted to sit and have a chat, even though there was music playing. But what the Eclipse desperately needs is a refurb. And it's not most areas of the ships, but where it really...
I don't think it was the decor.
No, where it's really showing its age is the seating.
Seats.
Like everywhere you went, like there's a few areas, like there's the theatre, and there's another area, which I can't remember what it's called. Gary had one of his things in there, and they had Deal or No Deal in there. And it
Celebrity Central.
And it had the cinema style
seats,
fold down seats. And when, so I put my hand so you can see it, when you folded it down, instead of it being like that, they were like that.
Yeah.
So some of them, you sat on them, you might as well have been sat on the floor. It was almost impossible to stay in your chair.
And we found that in the theatre as well, because I was sat next to Christy, and me and Christy were quite short. And
we were quite short.
Oh, yeah,
you are quite short. So I don't think there's anything changed.
We watched a great show. There was a lady who was a Whitney Houston did tribute, and fantastic voice. But by the end, our legs were aching because our seats were down a little bit. So I felt like we were just pushing our bums back into the seat. So yeah, so it's showing
that's a lot of pushing, I can tell you.
Paulie. So
good night.
Yeah, good night. So yes, so from a seating point of view, there's a very strange noises in Martini Bar as well, weren't they? But we won't go into that because we had laughed so much. Some of the chairs made some noises when you sat down on them. It was like sitting on a whoopee cushion,
like doing a giant fart. Yes. But I won't name any names. Steve.
So yeah, so from a decor point of view, as in the not the wallpaper, but you know what I mean. Most areas looked actually very clean and up together.
It didn't look tired. It definitely was clean. And what I will say, our cabin, seating. I really like the cabin.
Yeah.
Until Carrie and Mike let us have a look at their inside cabin.
Yes.
And their inside cabin
was humongous.
Was bigger than our
We've got
balcony cabin.
Yeah, obviously, as you know, we do our cabin reviews, so they will come back in due course. Strangely, in the cabin, the other thing we noticed as well, we walked in and it was like, where's the curtains? And it was just like plastic curtains, like a plastic blackout curtain. And that was a bit weird. It wasn't the end of the world, but it just didn't look that aesthetically pleasing.
It was like the sort of thing you see in like gangster films that they put on the floor before you have to go and have a chat to the boss. That's so what there was little things
about the ship. It's going in for refurb next May. Yeah. So I'm sure they're doing, because it's the last one that's having the last one in the solstice class that's having all the
Go on, you can tell them.
Why can't I get my words out tonight? But reimagined, I think is the right word. They've all been reimagined before. The other ships, the solstice, the equinox, and silhouette. And I think Eclipse is the last one. So that should hopefully, all those issues should be resolved.
Well, I'm glad you cleared that.
It didn't have a USBs by the bed, which was frustrating. Oh, no. So that was annoying.
I know it's all like, you're saying a bit petty now, but when
you're charging lots of stuff, it was frustrating.
I kid you not, I was the closest to the electrical points, and I was 10 foot away from them. So you were the other side of the bed.
Yeah,
so
there's only one area, but we'll go into more detail of that within our. So let's have a look. Corinne's just saying that the Millennium class cabin had been very nicely refitted in the restaurant, the Widden portrayed her age. Yeah, because the Millennium is an older class in Celebrity. I think what Celebrity do really well is they've got the Millennium class, which is older and smaller, which Corinne's just been around Japan on. They've got the Solstice class, which gives you the more traditional ship. So you haven't got a full wraparound promenade, but you've got some promenade areas and you've got some decent outside space. And then you've got the bling of the Edge class, which I think the Edge class do. If you want to go on a ship and be like, oh my God, wow, I think that had more of the wow factor than Celebrity Eclipse.
But to me, it's practical bling that serves a purpose rather than, and I don't want to name names, MSC, but having like £300,000 worth of stairs doesn't make sense to me. That money to me could have been spent maybe having a bigger bar area where people could sit down and get a drink instead of queuing for 2 hours. Just saying.
Anyway, Kevin's just asking, with all your amazing tomato harvest, have you made a nice BLT sandwich? Yeah, we got home. We've had friends staying when we were away, as we always do, and they were looking after our fruit and veg in house. But we've come back to loads of tomatoes and still we've got loads more in the greenhouse. So
we went shopping.
I know.
And Carole bought tomatoes.
I know.
And we got home and I said, so you bought tomatoes, have you? Yeah. Where do you want me to put them? And she said, oh, and then she turned around
and I was
to
like,
this
oh my
massive,
God.
without exaggeration, 60 or 70 tomatoes in a bowl. I said, where do you want me to put these? And then because she's a woman, but I won't. But because
tread carefully,
because
Morgan.
she's a woman. She said, oh, no, the thing is, though, these are all nice and ripe. So what it'll do, it'll make them green ones go ripe.
Well, actually.
So even when she was wrong, she was right. And do you know what grieves me? That's exactly what they did. Because
there was still some of them still a little bit green. But I learned from friends is put tomatoes with ripe tomatoes, but also put a banana in there in your bowl, and they all come red. Yeah. So that's a good tip for you there.
Yeah.
So lovely Kengo's cruising here. We thoroughly enjoyed your live on Monday. So thank you so much for coming. Let's have a look. Reese is here, so hopefully enjoying that. So look forward to this. It's been too long. We've missed you both. Paulie slightly more, but don't tell him. Oh, Reese.
I knew that, Reese.
That's hurtful.
We have little WhatsApp messages between each other.
Do you know?
No.
So, and Jim and Dwayne are here and saying we've missed our Thursday chill and get together. We have too. So Reese is asking a question. So hope you're all safe and ready for a cruise soon. Question: when do you start the cruise countdown? I normally do 100 days before. Well, our group cruise was started at 300. I think it's on
about 350.
200 and something now. 200.
To be fair,
2018.
It's very rare that we have 100 days between cruises.
Well, at the moment, because we haven't got anything booked, because the plan is to do a bit more last minute. We haven't got anything booked now till February, have we? So where we've got another sort of big Asia trip planned, which we're just putting the final details to. So we've got some ideas about what we want to do. So I'm sure we will be. However, nothing's actually.
I'll be shocked if we don't go on a cruise.
Exactly. And Dave said our Thursdays are now complete. Oh, that's just lovely. So, right, next question. Let's scroll down. Gosh, so much chat. I can't see the question.
Go
Let's
on,
just
go on.
Scrolly.
You can find one. Well, that's it. That's all the questions. No. So anyway, it's been great. Big thumbs up. It's not working now, is it? Oh, I got a thumbs up, but I didn't get any fireworks.
Where are I? Greetings from Andy and Chris and Morton the Marsh. Catherine says, hi, everyone. 4 weeks. Gosh, I miss next year's off on Sky Princess next week. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, lots of people have been booking their cruises through Dan. And also do check, and I'm going to put an email about it actually out next week. He's actually put together a quote of the cruise that we've just done. So, and if you want to know more about the ports that we've just done, go to our Facebook and Instagram, because we've got some quite in-depth posts there that we did when we were away. So Chris Moran, not our cousin. Good evening. I look forward to hearing about Gary's group cruise and the itinerary. I'd love to do it myself at some point.
It is an absolute banger of an itinerary. We were a little bit unlucky with the weather on a few, but I still have to say, overall, fabulous.
We started in, let's work our way through. We started in Boston. Now, Boston is a great city if you've never been. It's very expensive. Trying to get a hotel in Boston was not easy. Trying to get him to pour
a decent pint. Because
that was weird.
I was talking to Christy, who's one of our Patron's husbands, Ken, and
they're from Alabama. We had such a great fun with them. They've got the most amazing accent that we just love.
But we met for a beer before the cruise, and I got to the point where I'd stopped drinking beer. They didn't really have the side. They did have, to be fair, they had Magners in one of the bars, but I thought, well, I'd just rather drink beer. And pint after pint after pint after pint was flat, no head on it, disappointing. Thinking like, what is this? Is this my life now in Boston? And then Ken got a beer, and his come out and it was exactly the same. And I looked at him, I said, look, Ken, you're more experienced of drinking beer in America than I am. I said, is that a good pint, is it? Oh, yeah, they don't put any gas in it, he said, because you can drink more then. And they turned the gas right down. And when it comes out, it is as flat as a witch is. It's as flat as a pancake. And honestly, you know, but we found a bar, and I go in and I say, can I have a pint of whatever it might be? I said, and can I have some foam on it? And they sort of looked at me strangely, but then brought it out, and it was just a sight to behold. A beautiful pint. I didn't know whether to photograph it or drink it or do both. So you've got to ask, if you want like a normal, what I would call a decent pint, you've got to say, can I have some foam on it, please? And
it was bizarre, wasn't it?
It was bizarre, but everyone, the first one we went to, it's quite a famous Irish bar called the Black Rose.
Yeah, by Quincy Market.
By Quincy Market. So we go in there. Carole found it was busy in there. Carole found us a seat, so I went to the bar, and I come back, and when I put my drink down, Carole said, what the hell have you got there? I said, well, that's a good question, mate. And it just looked like brown liquid. It was like no resemblance to beer whatsoever.
Pipe,
but if you ask, you shall receive.
But on the recommendation of Kevin B, then we took the duck boat, which we did a tour, obviously land and then on the water in Boston, which was great fun. But it's a very easy city to walk, isn't it, Boston? Yeah. It's and it's just lovely, you know, obviously on the water. It's beautiful. So I definitely recommend.
And so much history there. It's unbelievable.
Yes, yeah, lots and lots of history. So Claire's asking, is there anything you would do differently on your group cruise to how Gary did it on his? I think we're going to do obviously the get-together sessions. From a presentation point of view, we've been talking about doing something slightly different.
I think with Gary, and what Carole means by that is Gary, because he's the king of the cruise bloggers, which he is undisputedly, and I can't, you know, will be for a long time to come. And he will get people that are not only interested in what he has to say about various ships and what have you, but also about thumbnails for videos and you know, what did the Corona shutdown do in terms of watch time and this and that, and you know, and he was answering lots of sort of technical questions like that, which obviously we're not going to do because we may. Well, I mean, I did record his thing, so what I might do, I do have to say this. I'm turning into Carole now, where I think most people in my age, where you get a tangent and then you get something else come in. We saw, and this has got to be the most random thing, we saw a magician. And he did a few tricks, and then he said, when I was on this magic show in America, I did this trick. He said, but, you know, it's too difficult to recreate here. So what I'll do is I'll just put it up on a big screen and let you watch it. And then he walked off stage.
That was a bit bizarre.
Well, just imagine, like, when, you know, the woman...
So that's what you're going to do, are you?
No, but you just imagine. No, I'm not going to do that, but I had a tangent, so I have to tell him while it's still in here. I said, you imagine if there was like a singer saying, oh, well, I'm going to do this song now, but it's quite difficult to sing it. So what I'll do is I'll show you a video of me singing it. And then they walked off. So what you can do and when he come back on stage, people applauded. And I'm like, well, you've just been out the back for a cigarette, mate, or something. And, you know, I don't know what's going on, but like...
So you're just going to put Gary's presentation
So I'm just going to put Gary's presentation up and say, well, look, we had a few ideas. We like what Gary did. So here's Gary. And then we're going to dub over it very badly with every time he says tips for travelers, it'll be Paul and Carole.
Anyway, so talking about Kevin B, he's here. So let me get on to share part of my new paycheck. Thank you for helping me through rough times with your lives and videos. Oh,
you are very, very welcome.
Thank you so much. That's very generous. So Kevin's been through a difficult time, but it's good to see that you're back and in a better place, which is great. So you are so welcome. So let's have a look. Where's that? It's popped up again, hasn't it? Lots of people, Jim and Dwayne asking, will you be pinching anything for us in May? We don't really have answered that. Debbie's asking, we're on the Eclipse in 4 weeks going to the Caribbean. Looking forward to hearing about the ship. Another thing that's jumped into my head, which is the difference between the Edge class and the Eclipse, was the dining room. Now, we preferred how the dining sort of laid out on Eclipse, because on Edge you get 4 smaller dining rooms, don't you?
Yes, and I didn't like that.
No, we didn't. It was all right, but it was for the first time actually, because we were eating as a group all together. You didn't have to. We dipped in and out. We ate out a few times, but mostly most of our meals was in the main dining room. And I must say, it's a beautiful, beautiful dining room, and the service was consistently good, and the food we felt was consistently good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, and that's the most we've ever ate in a main dining room. So overall, we were really pleased with the food.
Oh, totally, yeah. And the dining room is absolutely beautiful. And like Carole said, on the Beyond, they've got these 4 small dining rooms that are separated from each other, and I just felt it was a bit canteeny.
Yeah,
it didn't have it.
They all had different themes, didn't they? But it was just a little bit.
When I go to the main dining rooms in the evening, not in the daytime or if you go there for breakfast, but in the evening, I always feel like it's a bit more of an event. And when it's, and it is it's got, this massive great light at the top, which is beautiful. It's got a wine rack. That is a working wine rack that holds 1,800 bottles of wine, which is one of the centerpieces as well. And like Carole said, great food, great service. So yes, as far as things go, it's all apples and oranges.
Yeah.
But on the dining side of it, Eclipse main dining room knocks Beyond into a tin hat.
Yes, it does. But then Edge has a lot of things like the different bars and stuff that were okay.
I did say, didn't I?
Yes,
I said the main dining room, didn't I? I didn't say nothing about anything else.
No. Morris is saying, how busy was Canada? Not too crazy, was it? The ports were, depends on when you were in, because it depends on how many ports, but we were quite lucky because there was only sort of 1 or 2 other ships in.
Yeah.
Now, if I think about the ports we had such an amazing time because we had people contact us about a week before. There was, oh my gosh, Pam and Philip, wasn't it, in Sydney? Pam and Philip in Sydney in Nova Scotia. Pam emailed us a few weeks before we were going on our cruise and said, look, you're coming to where we live. We'd like to just say hi. If you want a cup of coffee, that would be great. But if you want us to take you around the island, then that would be great too. And, I thought, what? Why not? Let's go and meet Pam and Philip. And they were joyous. We met them and we laughed. And Pam said, oh my God, my friends and family have been saying to me, Pam, what's gone on with you? You're just not like that. Why are you saying to these people that you think that you're going to meet them? She said, and even my husband, Philip, and he said, I was saying to her, what are we doing? But, we had the most fabulous day with them. So thank you so much if you're watching. It was
obviously,
great.
Every time somebody picks us up from the port, we always think, is this the time that we finally meet a serial killer? But we're pleased to report, as we're sat here,
yes,
that wasn't the case.
But they took us to a lovely cider tasting place, and they took us for a drive around there.
They know.
Yes.
They know how to get to my heart.
Yes.
Oh, there is a cider tasting place here that does about 15 different ciders. Why are we still talking about this?
But Nova Scotia was beautiful, wasn't it? And when in Halifax, we met up with friends from Scotland. We met up with Chris and Evelyn, and that was great. And that was quite busy, Halifax, wasn't it? Because it was there was one more ship in.
Well, the thing is as well, because we were meeting our friends from Edinburgh, we stayed right on the port because they go to Halifax all the time.
Yeah.
And when we met up with them in August, when we went up to see Sean, we met up with these people as well.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, well, we're going to be in Halifax that sort of time. So we met up with them. But they, of course, and I'm not trying to cast aspersions on them or us, but they know all the best pubs to go to and with all the live music.
Yeah, to say about the live music. Obviously, new Nova Scotia's new Scotland. So it's got a lot of Celtic music and great atmosphere. And the Canadian people are just blimmin' lovely, aren't they? Yeah. I think Canada is becoming it's not becoming, it's become our favourite country. We also ended up going to Charlottetown, where a lady called Barb messaged us and said that someone at the door.
Parcel.
Oh, so we met Barb, and she was lovely. Again, she said, "I never normally do this, but sadly, the weather in Charlottetown, it absolutely poured down. We had mostly great weather, but it poured down in Charlottetown. So she wanted us to take us to the north of the island because the beaches there are beautiful and it's just very picturesque. But unfortunately, because of the weather, it was just pretty diabolical. So, but we did have a lovely time with Barb, and then we had a lovely meal. We came back full of Amazon. It's a shocker, yeah. We came back full of lobster. So much. If you love seafood, this cruise is just fantastic, because if we weren't eating the main dining room, we were off in the ports having a meal out, and we had the best lobster. We had the best chowder, clam chowder, and
You had a
seafood chowder.
And I had some spectacular mussels.
Yes.
With Barb.
Yes.
And it was the first time ever. Usually when I have mussels, is it Moore's marinade or whatever it's called, and it's in like a white wine creamy sauce.
Yeah.
But this was cooked in a sauce that had jalapenos and chili.
Yeah.
So it was a cheeky monkey as well. But the mussels were just spectacular. Yeah. And they're famous. Charlottetown is famous for its seafood and its potatoes.
Yes.
So I had a portion of fries, and Barbara's like, "Oh my god, portion of fries!" And he's like, "Yeah, Moles and Fritz." Yeah. And of course, the lady came out to serve us, and Moles and Fritz. She's and Barbara's like, "When did that become a thing?" Then she's like, "It's really popular." She said, "I would never put them two together."
Yeah.
Because you could dip your chips in that lovely sauce.
So fabulous food. It was in Quebec overnight, which was the sort of the shining star of the ports when you actually looked at the cruise initially, wasn't it? If you've ever been to Quebec, it's a beautiful, beautiful city. And we were there overnight. And the first day we were there, the sun shone, and then the rain came in the second day. However, it was a fantastic city, and I'd love to go back there. Love to go further into Montreal and discover a bit more of Canada. In fact, we're already planning a trip next year back to Canada. So yeah, can't wait for that. So was Canada busy? Not too much. It's so big, isn't it? No. Some of the ports, obviously.
Well, I'd say Quebec was the busiest.
Yeah.
But you'd expect it because it's humongous, and it has got the most photographed hotel in the world.
Yes, yeah, beautiful and so easy. A lot of the ports, it was great because we love when we go to new ports normally just to go there and just walk, see what's on the cruise port, and lots were easy accessible for.
We did have a few. We had a few tender ports.
We had one. Rockland, our first one.
Was it one or two?
One.
We had one tender port. Yeah.
Which is great because they let you sit on top of the tender. So we got some great footage with Paul's got his big pole out, much to the amusement of everyone, and we got some great footage from there as well, haven't we? Right, let's get on with questions because the times are ticking. So Carrie and Mike are here. So I love to see you guys. We spent a lot of time with them on Eclipse, and we just laugh so much. So how do you do the fancy map thing? It's an app that Dan's got me onto.
Don't tell him.
Don't tell him. No. Oh, it's a. Let me get it up.
I'm as wise as you on this one.
It's called MultDev, MULT.DV. Yeah, you have to pay for them. There's £1 a map, but I don't mind because I think they're really funky. So everyone's saying they love the map. Reese likes it. Yes, love the interactive map. So Mark and Sheila are here. Oh, a couple from the cruise. Well, catched up on sleep after the late nights on Celebrity Eclipse. What a great trip. It was.
It wasn't late nights with us because we were in bed by 10 o'clock every night. So anything that Mark and Sheila or Carrie and Mike say, don't believe them.
Tina's asking, did you get a Christmas decoration?
Oh my God. This is now Carol's official new. I don't know how I can say it politely. Really, she's like mentor for buying. I got to get a Christmas bauble. That is now almost the most important thing every port we get to. And then when we were in, it was in Quebec. They've got a Christmas shop.
Yes.
Now I know anybody who lives in Edinburgh, like Sean will tell you this. They've got a Christmas shop, and when you say, "Well, what's unusual about that?" It's open all year round. As is the one in Quebec. So you imagine what it was like in there. But the one in Quebec was about 7 times the size of the one in Edinburgh. And I thought, well, this is my life now. I'm going to. When I was in there, that I can't even grow a beard. This is about 5 days. As anybody who's ever met me, 5 days growth. I was in there that long. They actually thought I was Father Christmas. That's how long my beard was.
There's going to be so many lobsters on the tree. It's unreal.
There's so many decorations now to go on there. And I don't think the tree can take it.
A shout out to Laura, one of our lovely members who sent me a lovely gift to some baubles from Holland. So I've got about 4 different baubles that are absolutely fantastic.
So we did all that shopping, we didn't need to.
No. So the Christmas tree is going to look fantastic. So watch that space. So Kathy's asking, Chatty Kathy's here. Do Holland America do a free continental breakfast in your cabin? Yes, they do.
Yeah.
But no kettles. No.
But they will bring you tea and coffee in your room as well as part of your breakfast.
Yes.
So
Mark's asking, when are you going to show the video of Paul and Kieran singing in the Sky Lounge? Oh, yeah.
I haven't even watched that myself yet.
That will be coming in the vlogs, Paulie. Well, I won't spoil it.
Spoil it.
That was a great night. Such a great night.
I did have some in the lift minding my own business. And like I said, there's, I know I moaned about the loud music, but the atrium is fabulous. You've got all these glass lifts. And what Carole started doing, because she's a meanie, is she started waving to people. There's 3 lifts each side of the atrium.
That's nice, isn't it?
She started waving to people who were in the other lifts, and then they'd wave back. And then I say to her, "Who's that, mate?" She said, "I don't know. Just thought it'd be nice to wave to them." Nice, so that was her pastime. Then was like, if she couldn't buy baubles, she would wave to strangers.
But if it makes people smile, that's worth doing, isn't it?
So I was in the lift, and the doors opened, and I got 3/4 of the way out the lift, and there was this American couple that said, "Hey, buddy, nice singing last night." And then the lift's closed.
Bonnie's made it to the live City Airport in Minneapolis for 5-hour layover, and then off to London. Love hearing about your trip. Well, safe travels, Bonnie. So Sherry saying, I don't think you can get missed porch insurance in the US. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone. Yes, if you know differently, people in the US, then please let us know. And Corinne's asking, can you understand why Celebrity is inconsistent with kettles? Yeah, I don't know, because you had them on Millennium. So I don't know what that's all about. No. So, Stephen Lucy here. Hello, Paul and Carole, Marcus Shear, back in Melbourne up early as we're still heavily jet lagged. Great to meet you all on Gary's group cruise. Yeah, gosh, we thought it was bad enough flying back to Boston. Coming this way always really affects us. And our sleep was messed up, wasn't it, for a good week?
Yeah.
And we're just sort of, well, we're all right now, aren't we? But it took a while. I'm still struggling with my sleep, but I just think it's my age and my heat. But
last week, Carole said to me, "Are you getting that, mate?" And I said, "Well, I wasn't really planning to." Why? She said, "Because it's 2:05 in the afternoon." It
was mad. Anyway, but yes, lovely to meet you guys. I'm glad you're back in Melbourne. But that is going to be some jet lag to be getting over.
Seriously, yeah.
But it was great fun to meet you both. Let's have a look. Striker Maguire, we love that name. Listen to Car on my way home from Bargain Booze. Ooh. So let's have a look for more questions here. So lots of people say nice to see us back. We had a wonderful time. We did. Elaine's here and she's on Arvia at the moment. She's been having a great time. I forgot I was on an hour ahead.
Yeah, welcome to our world, Elaine. We never ever get the time right.
Gillian's asking, have we ever gone from Tilbury? We haven't, because that's Essex way. And for us in Gloucester, it's quite logistically, it's not convenient to get this right the other side of London. So no, we haven't. So Mandy's asking, how was the boat bus? We had a great time on the boat bus, the duck tour. That was so funny. I don't know if you've ever done a duck tour, but when you're on there, you get obviously a person at the front he was dressed up. Sounds really tacky and crap, but he was dressed up like what did he have on?
No, I'm going to let you do it, mate, because I know you've got no...
Well, he had a hat.
He was dressed like a man from when all you Americans threw our tea in the harbour at Boston. So I don't know what you would call that. But
character. He also had a plastic shark on his hand, and we thought, oh my God, this is going to be really like rubbish.
So it was a bit like watching Sooty and Sweet meets...
But anyway, he was brilliant and he had us all in fits of laughter, and he would say, right, we're going to go past another duck boat now. You've got to shout quack, quack. And we're thinking, oh my God, this is embarrassing. But you know what? We really got into it. We hadn't been drinking or anything, and we really got into it. And even when we got off the duck boat, the next day we walk around, people must have thought we were nutters, because we'd be stood on the side of the road and we see a duck boat come and we start shouting quack, quack. And of course, then everyone would wave off the duck boat.
But bearing in mind, there's loads of duck boats. What was even funnier than shouting quack, quack? If he saw a duck boat come in, he would say, right, they're all going to wave to us now, because the bloke on there is going to say, oh, there's another duck boat, wave to him. So when they go by this time, pretend we're all asleep.
Yes.
And so we'd be like, pretend we're all asleep. And then the next one would come past and we'd be doing like the YMCA when we were. And there was all, so every time a duck boat came past, we would do something stupid, which was really amusing. Yeah. Very childish.
Very childish, but we thoroughly enjoyed it. You might not enjoy that, but thank you, Kevin B, for recommending that, because it was great fun. So Laura's saying, totally agree. Cruise line should offer better ciders. Yeah, you just revert to beer, and then you stay on beer for the cruise, don't you? You either go. You don't tend to mix beer and cider, do you?
No, I mean there was in the pubs in Boston, like I said, they had Magners and stuff like that. But I thought, well, I wanted to try some of the local beers, and I did try some nice local beers. Once I said, "Can you put some foam in it, please?"
Yeah. Sean's saying, Carole, have you watched the new Doctor Odyssey? Want to know if it was like that when you were a nurse? Is that the Doctor Who, I guess?
No, he's a doctor on a cruise ship.
Oh.
Yeah, because I mean, you used to be a Time Lord, didn't you? Oh my God! You see what I got to put out there?
No, I haven't, Sean.
Yeah, and she's not a Time Lord. She has got 2 hearts.
Nick and Trace, thank you for Trace Birthcutt takes pride and place in the office. You're very welcome. Claire saying my home village is Woolacombe. Oh, well, let us know if you're going, huh? Exactly. Let us know if you're around and we can catch up with a cover of coffee.
And we did. When did we go to Woolacombe? We went there
years and years.
No, we went there last year.
We go to Woolacombe.
When we went down and we stayed at a little bed and breakfast after Deb and Scrum's wedding.
That wasn't Woolacombe.
It was Woolacombe. We went down there and it was about...
Woolacombe's Devon, Paulie. We were in Cornwall.
We went across to whatever, didn't we?
No, that wasn't Woolacombe.
Well,
that was the other coast.
What was it then?
Oh,
Go on.
I've forgotten. But no, that's the wrong coast.
She'll wake up at 4 a.m. and shout her name out, which is nothing unusual.
Adrian says, sounds great to meet him. Weatherspoons are quite a few, so we're travelling from the north on a bus, which may not arrive till 2-3 p.m. Well, I'm sure we'll be there from sort of late afternoon onwards.
Well, I was going to get there at about 10 o'clock in the morning.
Forget Paul.
10 in the morning, I'll be there. Weatherspoons breakfast, pint of Guinness.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. No, I am.
Ken said we had some issue on Silhouette Music everywhere in some places, 2 or 3 different tunes in the same area. Yeah, it was, and it sounds like we're complaining about the entertainment. The entertainment was very good around the ship, and the cruise director, Mike, was fabulous, and the team were great. So many activities. I've never seen every 15-20 minutes on the programme. There was most days was activities, and for the first time we saw inflatable curling. Didn't we?
They had an inflatable curling rink, whatever you would like to say, and the stones were like on wheels. And when you watch our vlogs, we videoed of some people doing it, and it was very, very amusing. But yes, and I have to say as well, I know virtually every cruise line do their version of rock opera, rock this, rock whatever. I have to say, I think that they might have just taken the crown off Princess.
I wasn't listening. What did you say? I was reading.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, Mark said about the lateness, but interestingly,
do you want to know what I said or not?
Go on, then. What did you say?
No,
go on, say.
No, you wrote my feelings there. I said all cruise lines. I'm just talking to her now because she was all cruise lines have their version of rock opera, rock city, rock this, rock that.
Yes.
And I have to say, I thought that one on the Eclipse could possibly have just forced his way into number 1, purely because the singing was absolutely spectacular, especially the Bon Jovi song they did.
No, Carrie and Mike.
Mike hates Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
But they had fabulous singers, but they also had aerial artists to go with it as well,
acrobats.
Which gave it.
Oh my gosh.
The stage, they got risers and stuff like that in the stage, but they've got nothing like, it's not a high-tech stage they're working with. And I have to say, if it was on every night, I'd have gone and watched it. I thought it was that good.
Yeah.
But Princess, I have to say, and we know 2 of the main singers that do the rock opera, which is
don't tell me that.
The guy from Sunderland and
Max,
yeah.
But interesting, Nick and Tracy were on Equinox and they didn't have unwanted music. So yeah. But it was great, and particularly the Martini Bar. We loved the Martini Bar where they do the juggling, and every hour the music would blare, and then they would start doing their acts. But so there was a lot of fun to go with the music, and it was great most of the time. But I think because we were in a group and we wanted to chat, If we'd been on our own,
We'd
it would
been
have
on
been,
our own.
it would have been an issue.
Loud music, so I couldn't hear Carole. Would have been perfect. She don't listen to me anyway. I mean, I've just got all I need to do now is when we get our divorce, you know, and I try and get like and I try and get a big payout, and I say, well, she just doesn't listen to me. I could say stuff. I've now got video evidence.
No, this is a question for you. I know. So, Carrie and Mike, are you going to be able to answer this? Which way is north? Paul can't get his head around north.
Somebody put on TikTok yesterday, and it was a woman driving, and her husband said, yeah, so when you get to the end of the road, if you go south on the whatever it is, and then she just turns around to him and say, is it left at Walmart or right at McDonald's? If you don't know where north is, what good is it somebody saying, oh, at the next junction, go south? Who knows where north is now? If you haven't got a compass, who can definitively say, without fear of contradiction, where north is? Unless you're like a Viking or something.
You got
or Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah, true.
That's the only two people.
Shreds and Threads are asking, how did you find the service on Celebrity? We found it very good.
Really good.
Yeah, we never waited too long for a drink, and the service in the main dining room, all through the bars. I can't think of a time that we thought, oh my God, come on.
No, it was always
so yeah, very pleasant, happy staff.
Yeah.
We didn't encounter any difficulties. Right, so let's see. People are asking about MDR food. We hope we covered that. We didn't do specialty dining, Andy and Carla, because we were either in the main dining room with the group or we were eating lobster. We were just eating lobster.
And ironically, I did my default. Now, Amanda took us to the best fish and chips in the history of fish and chips, didn't she, when we went to the lakes?
Yes.
And foolishly, when we were in Halifax...
Began with A.
Ambleside. Inn. Best fish and chips I've ever had. I'm confident in saying that. The Ambleside Inn in Ambleside. Up north it is. Up north. I don't know where that is. Wherever. When we were in Halifax, we met our friends from Edinburgh at this bar restaurant, which was humongous, wasn't it?
Yes.
And Carole had a spectacularly good Caesar, didn't you? That it was like a set meal for four. Her Caesar came out, which is a Canadian Bloody Mary, and it had a pickle, a long like runner bean thing, a massive olive. What else did it have?
Oh, it had a bit of sausage.
A bit of sausage,
which is a bit
all
bizarre.
On the skewer, and then you had this random sort of runner bean down in it as well. So you didn't need anything. And I was drinking the local beer, which was fabulous because in Canada they know how to pour beer. Sorry, American friends, I love you all. And then foolishly, instead of going for a lobster-based thing, I had fish and chips, and it was rubbish.
No, it wasn't lobster. It was lobster poutine I had there.
That's right, yeah. Lobster,
oh, my gosh. Yeah. And I love poutine. The weirdest thing I had, which we had in Quebec, was a chicken gravy sandwich.
I want to point out now that we went to the oldest restaurant in Quebec, and it had so much... character. It was unbelievable, and the service in there was great as well. And I had local beer now, which again was fabulous because it was in Canada. And I had beef and onion poutine, which is chips, cheese curds, and then beef and onion. So, which the cheese was a bit squeaky, but it was very nice. But there's pictures of everything, and Carole said, "Well, this is what I'm going to have." And it's a chicken sandwich, like a normal chicken sandwich with white bread, gravy poured all over top of the sandwich, and then a handful of like bird's eye peas thrown on the top. But what made it even weirder, it came with a side salad and coleslaw with gravy. Now, there was a picture of this, and Carole's like, oh, this is going to be...
Well, I love all that. I love chicken, I love bread, and I love gravy.
But it turned out not together.
Not together. Oh, but we do like to be adventurous. I thought, well, this is obviously a Quebecian thing. I'd like to try it. Quebecian.
Quebec, not Quebec.
So let's have a look. Rebecca's saying more about the itinerary. Fall is pretty in that area. The trees had just started to turn. So if I was going to do it again, I would probably go as late as I possibly can. I know Eclipse had one more cruise after ours before they were heading down to the Caribbean, because the trees had just started to turn, but you didn't have all those magical colours, which we thought we might have got that early, but it didn't happen.
I didn't even think about it, to be honest.
Paul didn't think about it. I did.
About, is the leaves going to change? I thought, change into what? A banana? I don't know.
Sean said, did you do a drinks package? We did. We just had the celebrity not have it all, because that's on America. When we booked, we had the package, and it worked out very well, didn't it? We didn't feel the need to upgrade or anything.
No, we did have to upgrade on the Wi-Fi, because we had the standard Wi-Fi, which was truly awful, and we had the standard drinks package, which
the Wi-Fi wasn't brilliant,
more than met our needs, but the Wi-Fi was truly awful. That's
why we haven't been doing our lives. So people saying you're brave tonight, Paulie. Oh, very brave. So, Kevin's saying Carol's correct. The ripe tomatoes and bananas release ethylene gas.
Well, I knew that, Kevin. I just didn't want to say it. Didn't want to steal your thunder.
Question: have you ever made any fried green tomatoes? No, I haven't. But it might be the first year to do that, because
do you have to make them at the Whistle Stop Cafe?
Yes, I remember that film.
As I recall, that was a terrible film.
Don't know.
Oh, I'm sure.
Anne's just saying as well, Anna and Mike here, don't forget to hit the like button, guys. Yeah, if you enjoy our live chats, then please do that. 219 days. See, I was close to that. Did I say about 220 until the group cruise? So thank you for that, Andy and Carla. David Webb. I like to read a cruise. On the last one, I read the history of glue. I couldn't put it down. Dear, oh dear.
Oh, I'm so stealing that joke.
And Carrie and Mike said only 540 days until the Patron group cruise on Queen Victoria. Ooh.
Well, I mean, at the moment, there's only be about 58 of us in Wetherspoon, Southampton before that one.
Yes. So if you fancy a smaller group experience on one of our group cruises, then that's the one to do.
But you have to be a patron.
Laura's just saying, what last minute cruise do you wait on hoping for? Well, there's a few going from Southampton in December, and there's also some Christmas markets. So I'm not going to give any more other than that.
Just imagine how many baubles she could buy.
I know.
We do what we're going to have to do is take 2 suitcases, and one of them won't have any clothes on or mine to be just thrown overboard on about day 3 for all the baubles.
One thing we did do this cruise is whether we packed less. We've got smaller cases that we know, even if we pack them full, they won't go over 23 kilograms. And we did laundry while we were on there. We bought the laundry package, which was £98, but it was so great, wasn't it? Because we just sent our bags off, and we've just been learning a great tip. Sean, one of our Patron, if you have a look, and it's by the lovely German guy Morgan what?
O'Brien.
Yes, Morgan, whose channel is, oh my gosh, I've forgotten his
Morgan's Summit Adventures.
Yes, he's got a great
he's got a great tip. I'll have to cut in again
on how to pack to get more in your laundry bags.
Carol's brain momentarily stalled.
It did. So, but we met Morgan in Hamburg. Actually, he's a lovely guy.
It's like Carol's on the Wi-Fi of a cruise ship that isn't very good, and now and again she just loses connectivity.
Yeah, it is just like that.
But the thing is, if you're sat next to her, you can hear the dial-up.
Yes. So Nick's saying 51 days until they go on Queen Vic. Lovely. So that's nice. So let's have a look. Gillian's looking at Ambition last minute November. If my passport comes back, going to be 5 days in order to it's printed. So yes, we want to get on Ambassador, because we're hearing some really. I know there was quite a few things to when they started that needed sorting, but they seem to be getting their act together, and apparently the entertainment's excellent, and they do some out of Bristol, don't they?
Said do.
What's the longest cruise we've done? 24 days on Azamara around Australia. 25. And to be honest, because it was a small ship going around Australia and it was quite rough, 25 days was enough. But I would do 25 days again if it was on a bigger ship. No trouble at all. So let's have a look. Any other questions? Nick saying flat as witches.
Fill in the blanks on that one.
Sherry's saying instead of having some fun, I think it's more common to say put a head on it.
Well, no, we would. That's what we would say. That's what we would say in England is, can I have a head on it? But when I was saying to this girl in the bar that we actually found that would do a decent pint, she said, "Oh, you want foam on it?" And I said, "Yeah." So I just assumed that's what I had to say to be understood. But
yeah. How did you find the visa? Oh, we had a really embarrassing situation. It's complicated going by cruise from USA to Canada and back again. From a visa point of view, it was fine because all we needed was our ESTA to get into Boston, and that was no issue at all. We need to renew that because ours runs out, doesn't it, in January?
But long story short, we had our Canadian and US visas were already in place from previous trips.
But for this cruise, you don't need a Canadian visa because you're actually getting on and off in America. So you need your ESTA.
Yeah.
However, always check. We always say whatever country we're going to, we want the appropriate visas to do that. Now, how they do it is obviously you go through immigration when you get to Boston, but when you're coming back from, it was from, what was our last port? Charlottetown. We had a day at sea, and then we were going into Portland. That was when everyone on the ship had to go through their immigration. Now you were given a time slot. Now the cruise ship was docking at like 10, and it was leaving at 7 p.m. But our time for our immigration was 1:45. So we were a bit miffed about that because we thought, well, we want to.
So we weren't even allowed to get off the ship until 1:45.
But anyway, I said to Paul, well, don't worry, that'll give us time to do some filming and do our cabin tour and do all the bits that we need to do. So we didn't fret too much about it. Some people, just a tip, some people did go to guest relations and say, look, I've got an excursion booked, or I'm meeting someone.
If you had an excursion booked with the cruise line,
yes,
you got priority. But obviously, if you'd have gone to it and said, well, look, I've booked something independently, they would. But
yes, they would. They put a lot of people forward so you could get off earlier. Well, we decided anyway. So then we went for lunch in the buffet, or late lunch, and we bumped into Gary. So we were sat chatting to Gary, and 2:00 comes. So we must get off in a minute. Anyway, we're so busy chatting about all sorts and having fun, and all of a sudden, over the loudspeaker came this.
Could Mr. Paul Morgan and Mrs. Carole Morgan Slater present themselves at guest relations?
And we're like, oh my God. So we were the last two to go through immigration. We went to the guest relations. They were really grumpy with us. And I thought, oh my God, this is really embarrassing.
It was like something you see on a film when the president is being delivered somewhere by security. And when when we started approaching the guest services desk, a woman looked up and said, she turned around to somebody and said, I can see them. They're coming now. And then this bloke appeared through this side door. We barely got to the desk, and he said, "Oh, right, follow me." And he didn't have a thing like that, but it would have been great. But he had a radio. I've got them with me. And then we were escorted all the way off the ship. And then the only people left to do immigration was the crew. We bypassed the whole crew. Faces like thunder off everybody that's looking at us until we got to there was one lady who just smiled. Then we got to the immigration guy. And
I said, I am so sorry. I said, we haven't really got a valid excuse, but I just want to apologize. And he just laughed. He said, it's no problem at all. Just we're glad that we could get you through. And he was lovely, the immigration guy, which they can be sometimes quite stern, can't they? Yes. So that was embarrassing. So here's the best tip, and something that I've learned from that is if they give you a time, don't get talking to Gary Bembridge, because it's Gary Bembridge's fault.
It's Gary Bembridge and Carole's fault.
Why is it not your fault?
Because I'm a child. I just do as I'm told. I don't know. I haven't got to say anything.
And talking to the devil. Gary's here.
You got a lot to answer for.
We had such a great time, Gary. So Gary's got another group cruise in January 2026, Panama Canal. We're not sure whether we'll be able to do that because of our thoughts of going to New Zealand, etc. But I would thoroughly recommend, if you're looking for a group cruise, get on Gary's, because it was great fun. Sean saying, Gary, your ears must be burning. We didn't try the Tuscan grill, Ken, because we didn't do specialty, because like we say, we were either in main dining room or eating lobster. Nick says the MDR and Equinox was superb, but it was so noisy for my liking. I think because we were in the main area, I didn't find it too noisy. Did you?
No.
We were able to talk to people, so no, that wasn't an issue for us.
It probably was noisy, but it was us making the noise, I would have thought. So.
Say that again?
It probably was noisy, but it was us making the noise.
Possibly. Kevin said, "Are you scared of serial killers surprising you at the airport?" Yes, Kevin did that to us in Calgary. So Sherry's trying to lose weight. Yeah, I've been eating quite healthy since we've been back.
Christy.
Oh, Christy is here.
Yeah.
So Christy and Ken, I ate at Tuscan again. It was wonderful. We booked the first night, got 50% discount. Yes, that's a great tip, Christy. If you book it, specialty dining on the first night or on port days, you tend to get it cheaper than on a sea day. So let's have a look because we've Jackie's here. So obviously, Jackie, well, hello there. Better late than ever. So glad you got back for a live. I've missed you both. Keep watching many of your vlogs over and over. Please do. Our vlogs and our lives are always available. So if we're ever, if you miss us, then that's great to hear that you do that. Jill and Sandra just saying they always get a Christmas decoration.
Well, it doesn't make it right, though, does it?
Ah, and Natalie Green's here. Love seeing that. So let's have a look if we've got any other questions. Let's have a look. Garth's asking about solo travel. For us, it's hard for us to say because we didn't experience it and we haven't spoken. But I know Kathy and there's a few people in the chat here, Garth, that might be able to answer that for you. Bonnie's saying about American insurance, Allianz travel insurance when we travel, it covers missed ports. So I think, Sherry, that may answer your question. I believe excursions have to be purchased through a cruise. I could be wrong. So that's something to look into.
But Allianz is a big massive insurance.
Andy and Christine said, just made it to the garden Morton watching the Northern Lights. First time we've seen them, and it was in our own garden. Oh my God, that's only 20 miles away.
Bye.
So no.
I'll just go and have a look now. I'll give you a live update.
So Tina, this is funny, Paulie. Being as everything on my body has gone south, north must be my head. Yes. And Sherry saying, true. I hate it when Jimmy says turn east. Yeah, it's a difficult one. So Carrie and my course went to Tuscan Grill and thoroughly enjoyed it. Kevin saying that's Boston's not the best representation of the US. I do not recall any beer complaints from your New York visit. No, we didn't, did we?
Wow.
That's
man,
true.
You want to see out there?
Is it amazing?
No,
nothing there.
Yes, Kevin, I take it all back. It's obviously just that. I thought Boston was sort of famous for a famous beery type place, so to be fair. But no, we didn't have any Well, we only had one complaint, and that was me and Jane had a pint, which was our own fault, and it was a local beer, but it had citrus in it.
Yeah.
And none of us liked it, but purely because it had citrus in it. But it wasn't because it was a bad pint. And yes, I do take it all back about beer. I don't take it all back about Boston, but yes, we have some excellent beer.
And one thing, just talking about beer and Boston, one thing Gary did for his group cruise, he arranged with Visit Boston he had contacts through his Patron initially, and he arranged a fantastic tour for us to go to visit Boston, and we all met, didn't we, and had we went up to the Visit Boston Tower and had some drinks there, and then we went to the Quincy Market area and all met there and had this reception with some food put on, and it was great, wasn't it? It was a great start to the cruise, to sort of an icebreaker of meeting everyone. We're doing
something very similar. It's called Meet at Wetherspoons and buy your own beer.
Exactly.
But I'm sure there'll be somebody in there who'll tell you all about Southampton if you ask them.
Oh dear, right. Let's have a look because
that's Morgan's thing. Very unofficial travel guide.
Very unofficial. That's it. That's Morgan's very unofficial travel guides, and he's got a great packing hack to get more in your laundry bag, and it's brilliant
because you can pay per item, which will cost you an absolute king's ransom, or you can pay for a bag full. And they even say on Celebrity, they even say it's they challenge you to see how much you can get in the bag. So they know that people's going to be jumping off the top of the wardrobe to try and, get more clothes in there by putting their foot on it or whatever. But if you follow Morgan's advice, you'll get a suitcase full in there.
Yeah, exactly. So Mark by C saying, hi guys, you're my favourite vloggers. Really hoping you'll be on my Northern Europe Iona cruise next Saturday. No, we won't. Sorry, Mark. Lizzie saying, do Ambassador 40 nights. Will be fun with me and 36 solos 1st November. Oh, that will be fun. Right. So let's have This is a great point from Sherry Walsh. Word warning to your followers: we refused Esther on our recent trip because we visited Cuba on a previous cruise a year ago. We had to pay £155 on a trip to the US Embassy in London. Yes, if you have had any visits to Cuba, it does obviously. When we've looked at that, it does say that. So but that's a great reminder, Sherry. So thank you very, very much. Kath saying she's going on Gary's Panama cruise. Please come. So let's have a look. Coney Island Lager. We enjoyed Coney Island, didn't we? It was fun. And Andy and Christine saying, take a photo of the sky with your phone. I couldn't see much, took some pictures. I put them on my Instagram. We'll have a look.
Well, just look at yours, and what we'll do is we'll just pass them off as our own. That's what we do with most of our blogs, isn't it? Now, I knew she was reading that, and I thought I was going to get away with it, but...
And Sean's just saying, we've got 44 items on our laundry bag for $35. Yeah, it was that was just... Sometimes I see things on, but that was a great tip. Sometimes I've got this great packing hack, and you watch it, you think, I'm like, really? That's not really good.
You fold it up and put it in.
But this is a really good packing hack, so make sure you have a look at that. And Lisa H said, we paused the live for a trip out to the garden as well. Second time show, we've seen the aurora from our back garden. So maybe we need to go out there and take some pictures. But anyway, we've been chatting for far too long. It's been so good to be back.
How many times have I said that to you?
What's that?
You've been chatting for far too long.
So we're going to be doing our regular Thursday night lives now for the foreseeable future. We'll let you know if that changes. But we've had a great time chatting to you all. Thank you so much for joining us and not forgetting that we existed.
And guess what? Our brand new vlog series.
Yes.
Holland, America, Amsterdam.
Yes.
Starts tomorrow.
It does. We've already got our cabin review out, so go and check that out. And also, yes, our embarkation, our transfer from Rome, our embarkation on our first day on board. So make sure you watch that. And if you enjoy our vlogs, please share them with people that you know. Share them on your Facebook or whatever, because it'd be lovely to get more people following us too.
It would.
So good night all, and we will speak to you soon. Oh, fireworks. Woo! Cheers all.